Have you ever stopped to think about that little shaker on your table? The salt you sprinkle on your fries, the pinch you add to your pasta water. It's everywhere, and almost everything we eat. We take it for granted, but have you ever wondered where salt actually comes from? It's not just magically appearing in our kitchens. The journey of salt is an incredible story, stretching back thousands of years, and involving vast oceans, deep mines, and fiery furnaces. Today, we're going to uncover the secrets of salt, from the ancient seas to your dinner plate. Get ready, because the story is way more fascinating than you might think. There are three main ways we get salt, and the first one is probably the most iconic: sea salt. It all starts with the ocean, which is basically a giant soup of dissolved minerals. To get the salt out, producers use a method that's been around for centuries: solar evaporation. They trap seawater in large, shallow ponds. Think of them as giant, salty swimming pools. The sun and the wind then get to work, doing their natural thing, as the water slowly evaporates over weeks or even months. What's left behind is a highly concentrated brine. This brine is then moved to another set of ponds, called crystallizer ponds. Here, the evaporation process continues, and something amazing starts to happen, as more and more water disappears. The salt concentration becomes so high that tiny salt crystals begin to form. It's like a slow-motion science experiment. Workers then carefully rake up or harvest this crunchy layer of salt crystals. This is what we know as sea salt. Depending on where it's from and what minerals are left behind, it can have different colors and flavors. You might see pinkish hues or gray tones, all thanks to the unique mineral makeup of that specific part of the ocean. It's a beautiful, natural process powered entirely by the sun. But what if you don't live near the coast? No ocean, no problem. This brings us to the second major method: rock salt mining. This might sound strange, but millions of years ago, vast oceans covered parts of the earth that are now dry land. When these ancient seas evaporated, they left behind massive underground deposits of salt. These are essentially buried salt beds, some of them hundreds of feet thick. To get to this salt, we have to mine it, just like we mine for coal or other minerals. There are two ways to do this. One is through traditional mining. Miners dig deep shafts into the earth to reach the salt deposit. They then use huge machines to carve out the salt in big chunks. It's a tough, industrial process happening deep underground, in a world made entirely of salt. The walls, the ceiling, the floor, it's all salt. These huge salt rocks are then brought to the surface, crushed, and sorted by size. This type of salt is often used for things like de-icing roads in the winter because it is so abundant and cheap to produce. The other way to get rock salt is a bit more clever. It's called solution mining. Instead of sending miners down, they drill a deep well into the salt deposit. Then, they pump fresh water down one pipe. This water dissolves the salt underground, creating a supersaturated brine. This salty brine is then pumped back up to the surface through another pipe. Once it's on the surface, they have a pool of extremely salty water, and from there, the process gets interesting. This leads us to our third and most common method for producing the table salt we use every day. This third method is called vacuum evaporation, and it's how most of the salt in your kitchen is made. It starts with that brine, either from solution mining or sometimes even from seawater. The goal is to get the water out and leave pure salt behind. But instead of waiting for the sun, we speed things up dramatically using heat and pressure. The brine is pumped into a series of huge, sealed metal containers called vacuum evaporators. Inside, the pressure is lowered, which reduces the boiling point of the water. This means they can boil the water away using less energy. As the water turns to steam and is removed, the salt crystals start to form. Because this process is so controlled and happens so quickly, the crystals that form are very small, uniform, and incredibly pure. You get that fine, white, perfectly grained salt that you see in shakers everywhere. This salt is almost 100% pure sodium chloride. After the crystals are formed, they are dried, and this is where another important step happens. Most table salt is iodized, which means a small amount of iodine is added. This was a public health initiative started in the 1920s to prevent iodine deficiency, which can cause serious health problems. So that little box of table salt is not just a flavor enhancer, it's a piece of public health history. So, let's recap the journey. We have sea salt, harvested from evaporated ocean water. With its unique character and mineral content, we have rock salt, mined from ancient, buried seabeds, often used for industrial purposes like keeping our roads safe in winter. And finally, we have vacuum evaporated salt, created from brine in a highly controlled process to produce the pure, fine-grained table salt we all know and use. Each grain of salt has a story, a journey through time and technology, from the sun-drenched ponds of coastal farms to the dark, cavernous mines deep beneath our feet, and into the high-tech world of vacuum pans. The production of salt is a blend of ancient tradition and modern science. It's a substance so fundamental to our lives, our history, and even our biology. Civilizations have been built on it, wars have been fought over it, and our bodies can't live without it. So next time you reach for that salt shaker, take a moment to appreciate the incredible journey it took to get to your table. It's a little reminder of the amazing world we live in, where even the simplest things have a complex and fascinating story to tell. Thanks for joining me on this salty adventure. If you found this interesting, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the everyday things we often overlook. See you in the next video.